All right, people, your boy man Mike coming at you guys with yet another Atlanta Falcons video. Had a chance to calm down after watching the first round of the Atlanta Falcons. Man, this is just what they do. The Falcons always make moves and decisions that we least expect, and AJ Terrell is a damn good prospect. I'm just going to be honest. After watching a lot of film on him, I knew he would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 4th or 5th corner pick, but to see him being taken at 16 was a little bit of a shock. But when you look at the Falcons list of guys who they talk to, as far as their just having interviews with these guys, the Falcons always show signs of guys who they'll take. They never take guys that they don't interview, and AJ Terrell was one of those guys. And when you look at his film, when you look at a lot of his work, and I know a lot of people like to bring up the championship games against LSU. Look, man, it's just cornerbacks have one of those days, man. Every cornerback has one of those days where they just can't do anything right. All right, we saw one of the best, if not the best, corner in the game, Patrick Peterson, going against Julio Jones, and Julio gave him the absolute business. Okay, so it's not a foreign concept to see a cornerback being outdone. So what do I expect from the Atlanta Falcons and AJ Terrell? To be honest, the first one that I really caught my eyes, that he reminds me of a lot. We're talking about a lot of Isaiah Oliver. The length, not necessarily the arm length, because Isaiah Oliver has some, he has arms like defensive linemen. So his arm length is not all that impressive. He is long. He's got about 6'3", 190, almost 200 pounds. Dan Quinn loves those big, physical, athletic corners that can match up well against some of the bigger, more physical receivers like Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, the tight end out of New Orleans. Yeah, the tight end out of New Orleans. And the Falcons, DJ Moore, these guys are pretty big. So the Falcons want to be able to match up as well as play physical. And I think this is something, when you look at AJ Terrell, dude is physical. He's really handsy. All right. So when he gets in the NFL, that's something that I think he's going to have to kind of calm down on a bit, as far as his hands and being a little bit of aggressive. You don't want to take that aggressiveness away. But you do want to teach him the proper technique, so you want to get a ton of penalties. But what I've seen him physically, I love what I saw when I saw the film. Some of the game with Joe Burrow, man, and Chase, those guys, look, man, he just made some big time throws. Sometimes, like I said, it's just sometimes one of those games where we just get smoked, and that's nothing you can do. You have one of those games. Every corner has those games where they just can't match up and just can't do anything right. It happens to the best of them. It happened to True, it happened to Patrick Peterson, it happened to a lot of guys. So AJ Terrell is no different from any other corner. So when it comes down to it, man, I like what I saw physically from AJ Terrell. Like I said, Isaiah Oliver, Sheffield, these guys are big, athletic. They love to tackle. They're physical, and I like what I saw. What I expect the Falcons to do more of this year is a lot of two-man defense. We're going to see a lot of two-man safety taking one high side of the field. We're going to see some cover three. All right, that's never going to go away in the game of football. Cover three is never going to go away. So we're going to see more of a cover two scheme with the Atlanta Falcons, using KZ on one side, using Ricardo Allen on the other side, and perhaps Keanu Neal, if he comes back healthy. You could quite possibly see the Falcons trade up to get a guy like Dale Pitt, trade up to get a guy like Antoine Winfield Jr. Two guys that I absolutely love. Quite possibly you can see the Falcons, trade up to get a defensive lineman. AJ Gross Mateo, like all these guys are still, Terrell Lewis, all these guys are still available. So the Falcons would definitely have their options going into round 2. It starts at 7 o'clock tonight. But when it all comes down to it, man, I think he's more of a boundary corner with a tremendous amount of potential, and he's a ball hawk. All right, I've seen plays in college where the pick six. I know we remember the pick six and the first play of the game. The guys, he played receiver in high school. He's a DB in college, and a terrific athlete. So he knows routes, he understands routes, and he has great hands. Okay, dude has great hands, and the Falcons need more players with ball hawk skills and ball skills and whatnot. So the only thing that I'm looking at as far as AJ Terrell is just experience and technique. Needs to work on his technique, but the Falcons have one of the best defensive back coaches in the league, and that's Morris. Raheem Morris is terrific. I'm talking about terrific. A DB coach, and he's one of the best. He actually won. He got a job based on that alone. So when it comes down to it, man, the Falcons have a tremendous amount of DB help. When it comes down to the coaching staff or whatnot, so he will have the best at hand. All right, we're talking about the absolute best at hand, and Raheem Morris, who is defensive coordinator. So when it all comes down to it, man, the pick for AJ Terrell, I think it was a wise decision. I think the Falcons were, well, I know for a fact there was a lot of smoke screen to kind of get their guy. I actually think that your boy Javon Kinlaw was their guy, but when San Francisco made the move that they made, that damn Kyle Shanahan, they screwed us again. But when they made that decision, AJ Terrell was their guy. And I think that's what it comes down to it, man. It was a smart pick. Me personally, it reminds me of 2019 when we traded back up, and I thought the Falcons were going to get a defensive lineman, but they end up getting Caleb McGarry. Even further back, it reminds me of when the Falcons traded. Well, they didn't trade, but they took Keanu Neal. A lot of people looked at Keanu Neal and said, "Oh my God, this is a bad pick." But it's one of those picks that you don't necessarily know a lot about him. You know he doesn't suck, but you're not absolutely sure about it. So in the NFL draft, man, I always say this, that a lot of players that you expect to be big time players typically don't pan out. Why? Is it because coaches have different ideas and what things that they want to do with these players, and they go away from their strength? This is one reason why Vic Beasley is no longer with the Atlanta Falcons, because Dan Quinn had to use him in different ways, and the Falcons didn't get the proper help and use him the proper way. So hopefully that is gone. But AJ Terrell is a guy that I think he will fit well. I think the Falcons are going to the system and the players that they want. They're going to the system that they want. They want physical, athletic, long corners that can make plays on the ball. And this is going to be amazing for the Atlanta Falcons. You get to have Keanu Neal coming back. You get to have Ricardo Allen playing a little bit more towards the line of scrimmage at nickelback. He's going to play some safety, but they're going to use him as well. He's going to use Ricardo Allen a little bit more towards the line of scrimmage. And your boy KZ, he can play a third. He can play cover three. The cover three scheme to kind of be the guy to prevent anything from getting deep. He's good at that. Yes, he does need to improve, but with the corners, with Isaiah Oliver, Kendall Sheffield, these guys, I think they're going to be much better coming this year. And got a guy like your boy. You got your boy AJ Terrell. I think he's a terrific player. I think he's going to have to, focus on his technique, and going against guys like Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones in practice is going to serve him well. He's going to get that work. So he's going to have to learn fast in a hurry. So this is something that I love with the Atlanta Falcons, man. They have the best athletes, they have the best receivers, and they have the best corners as far as talent is concerned. In my opinion, when it all comes down to it, man, I like the pick. I think it was a smart pick. It wasn't an exciting pick, but the Falcons did a good job of bringing the hometown guy and AJ Terrell. So let me know what you guys think about this, man. Continue to support your boy here at ASKMADMIKE Sports, and I'm gone, baby. Peace.